The water looks like it's come down a lot here on the Milwaukee River. See that rock out there beyond the geese? The one that's pretty exposed. Just a couple weeks ago with all the rain, that was completely underwater. See how deep the water is where the geese are? I like this level of the river. Should allow me to get some good access and move around in the river, although it's gonna be kind of cold. This island here that the bridge goes across, I try to work the island as much as possible down this channel, and on the other side there's really good pockets, and at the far end, if I can get there today, there's a weed bed that I've had some real good luck in. This is the main channel here. Still fairly dark. Last time I waded this river, it was crystal clear. You could see everything. I'm gonna go around and go in over there. Usually I cut across to this tree and down this side here. I mean, you can see the bottom. It's not that muddy. I'm going to go with the Whopper Plopper to begin with. When I don't really know what's going on, I'll go here. It's amazing when you get a surface strike on this thing, especially when they get up 16, 18 and bigger. It can be pretty violent, pretty exciting. Hopefully I'll be able to capture some of that for you guys. Might switch to plastics later. Really like this color pattern, a combination of silver, translucent, and gray. Even in my plastics, it really does well out here. I think it's the dark color of the water and the contrast. I don't do as well with more natural colors. Don't do as well with really bright colors like pink and purple and things like that. It's really this color combo works for me. I got my Black Max bait caster. It's a simple setup, rod and reel. Bought it together at Dick's. Not a real fancy fisherman, more of a working class guy. If you notice, I'm gonna go wading and I don't have waders on. It's gonna get cold, but that's just kind of the way I like to do it, you know. Working class river, working class town, and do a little working class fishing. So this river goes all the way down into Milwaukee, out through the harbor, and it changes a lot on the way down. Many falls, some dams with fish ladders, some dams without. They've been removing a lot of the dams. And the river's really been cleaning up with the dams being removed. I mean, I don't remember it. I wasn't here. Only moved here about 4 years ago. But the way people have talked about it, a lot of vegetation moving through the river right now. The other day where I was fishing, it's like every other cast, I was pulling something that was just floating down the river. Up, just constantly cleaning my hooks. Yeah, it's still pretty deep. Last time I waded this river, I wasn't up to my pockets as I am right now. getting a little cold up in there, if you know what I mean. I might have to get out of the river. Fish from the bank a little bit. Get down to those, I'm trying to get down to those lily pads at the... So beautiful out here. The deer bed down out here. So I try, when I'm moving through here, try to follow their paths, which sometimes that works. So this plank I'm going to step on here kind of shows you where the water level is. Last time I waded out here, half of it was out of the water. So even though the river's come down a lot, it is definitely higher and limiting some of the places I can go than the last time I was down here. But I'm getting closer to those trees in the water there. There's a lot of vegetation at the far end of that, and caught some pike down there and some good sized bass. And so I'm hoping that with the water level being the way it is, when I get down there, I'm gonna find some fish finally. Last time I was down here, I was able to come down the other side, all the way around this weed bed, around that edge, and back up this way, and never deeper than where I'm at right now. And I caught like a good amount of fish, you know. It was a lot warmer. Definitely things are changing. I'm kind of learning this river, you know. I've only had one full year on this segment of the river. Okay, I was just moving back to a spot where I could change my setup, you know, and I drop things in the water. And I cast right over there, and something quite large, I'm actually thinking maybe a pike, came up and took a swipe at it. Nothing serious, but I mean, it was big. I hate that. Didn't have it on camera, didn't hook it. Oh, did you guys see that? It followed it all the way up and hit it as I was pulling it out of the water. Oh, I did not see that. That was aggressive as AF. Holy crap. Something is in here. I've caught pike on these Whopper ploppers before. fact, the biggest pike I've caught in the river was on a Whopper Plopper. Got it. Fish on. Just a little one, but at least I'm not skunked. Just a baby. God, he got him good too. Just a baby. Yeah, just a baby. And he's gone. You know what? I may not change my offering. Always love it when I can do some gardening. Taking out the weeds. So this kind of fishing is really new to me. I love it. When I got the bait caster and figured out how to cast it, do the things I wanted to do with it, watched a lot of YouTube videos. I got to give a shout out to ND Yak Angler, his YouTube channel. I believe he's out in like Minnesota, South Dakota area. Watching him fish really has taught me a lot, has inspired me in the way that I fish. One day maybe I can get a kayak too, so I don't freeze my butt off as much. Oh, got a little more gardening here. And it's getting cold and it's getting dark. I don't know how much more I have in me. But now that I got this GoPro, I plan on doing this a lot more often here in Wisconsin. Trout guy really from Washington State, learning how to fish for these smallmouth. Been getting some largemouth in ponds, getting some pike, got a few salmon since I started doing this, and I just thought, you know what, I'd bring you on my journeys with me and tell you my stories, you know. So I hope you enjoyed the video today of me fishing the Milwaukee River here at the end of September. And I just kind of wanted to bring you to my Instagram account and show you that there are bigger fish that I can catch in that section of the river, and show you some of the fish that I've caught going back to the spring before I had my camera, just to give you a chance to see why I love that section of the river so much, because I know there's big fish in there. I've caught them. Back in July 23rd, I caught these two chunkers here in one evening, both on the Whopper Plopper, both on the main channel off the bank of that island. The water was a little deeper than it was today, so wading in that section was going to be impossible. This one here was about 18, measured to some marks I have on my pole. Quite a chunker. I mean, he just blew up the Whopper Plopper. It was aggressive. This fish here was probably more 15, 16. And again, just a total blow up on the surface. When these fish this size hit the Whopper Plopper, it's one of the most exciting things. I can't get enough of it. The night before, fishing with a plastic setup I'll show you here in a bit, I caught this fish, and these are more 14 pushing 15. Again, they blew up the line. This was pretty much from underneath the bridge. Still, the water was pretty deep, so I wasn't wading, but just fishing it off the bottom. And moving on, I caught my personal best in that section of the river upstream from the bridge. The water was really high. It was June 27th. We'd had a lot of rain. I was in a section that normally the rocks are very exposed, but they were buried. And I was kind of under some trees with some real light casting, not a lot of range to get a lot of line out there. And I was just bouncing the plastic across the surface, or across the bottom. And I got a little tug, a little head shake. Went back to that same spot a couple casts later, and boom, this fish hit. And man, this was so exciting. Look at the size. Look at my shoulders. I'm 6 foot, almost 200 pounds. So I'm not a small guy. Look at it in comparison to my shoulders. Look at my hand and the dorsal fin. I mean, if I hold my phone, a normal size phone, my fingers wrap around that phone. So think of a phone and then all that extra distance up to the back of that fish. I mean, that fish was a beast. And like I said, it's about 21, 22 inches, measuring it on those marks on my pole. Some of the other fish I caught on the river this year was this smallmouth here. There's the bridge that I keep talking about that's in the video. Not a real fat fish. It was like it seemed to have not been feeding. It seemed to be up looking in the shallows for bait, looking for bait fish, things like that. That was back May 25th. Kind of at the beginning of the summery months, the warm weather. Water was still really high. And I wanted to show you this. This is what I say, a plastic that I really like when I'm not fishing the Whopper Plopper. The Whopper Plopper and these are my two go-tos. I use a shaky head hook, bouncing it off the bottom. I'll take the tip of that hook and push it back into the plastic on the top so I can be mostly weedless, dragging it over logs and whatnot. And depending on the action and the way I work that, either off the surface or a little bit faster retrieve with big pauses, I can't keep the fish off that if they're looking to feed. It's like, I'll have a 10 fish night sometimes. They'll just eat it up. And that's like the 3.5 inch length. Sometimes I use a 4.5 inch, a little bit bigger version. And it doesn't seem to keep the small fish off either when I go to the bigger version. They attack that just as readily. I just probably don't get as many hookups of the smaller fish with the larger version. And I tend to catch more pike, which also like this setup. This fish right here was at the very beginning of the spring. This is early May. But, that was probably 12, 13. But really healthy if you look at it. I mean, a pretty fat fish. But yeah, those are some of the bigger fish, some of the variety of fish that I've caught on the Milwaukee. Here's a bass that I caught in a different section of the Milwaukee last year. Caught this pike in that exact same hole. That was on the October 20th. This is October 27th. And this was October 22nd. So all within a week, I caught this pike, about 36 inches, this coho, and this bass, all in the same section of the river. So I really like the Milwaukee River. I just wanted to show you some of these fish. I didn't have my camera back when I was doing this, and I was just kind of still figuring out how I wanted to fish the river, and thought maybe you would enjoy that. And I'll be producing another video for you real soon. I had a couple days later, I was able to go out and hike the river for 5 hours and put together another fall fishing for smallmouth video. So look forward to that.